2021 just got better. Your favorite shows from WLFE-DB Radio can now be found on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Yes, we now video stream to both of those platforms. Search for your favorite shows like Where's My Sage, Inside the Drag Closet, Across the Pond, Everything Yet Nothing, Paratalk Radio, Step into the Paranormal, The Creepy Parlor, Just Cindy, and more. Now you won't miss an episode. Remember, follow Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Make sure you subscribe and follow your favorite WLFE-DB radio shows. This award-winning thriller has it all. Murder, political intrigue, mob revenge, and a bit of romance. Not to mention strong female and male characters with a storyline that could be tomorrow's headline news. Now for a quick peek into our story. To help solving a nationwide plot involving the assassination of several U.S. senators, the O'Rourke team is called in. To complicate matters, they now have to work against the clock to rescue one of their own. You see, the mob didn't take too kindly to the O'Rourke team's involvement last spring. It seems to have led to the indictment of their boss. Will they succeed? Oh yeah, life just got sweeter now that WLFE-DB has merchandise. Show your support by purchasing your t-shirts for WLFE, Paratalk Radio, Inside the Drag Closet, and more. But it doesn't stop there. T-shirts, coffee mugs, tanks, buttons, cloth bags, and more. Go to WLFE-DB.com. On the top bar, click on the merchandise tab and bam! There you go. You got merch. Support the shows. WLFE-DB.com.
You're listening to WLFE-DB Radio. Now, back to our program.
Paratalk Radio is a member of Radio.com. Download the app, search Paratalk Radio. One word. That's it. Pretty easy peasy. Radio.com.
WLFE-DB Radio is on Spotify with all its great shows like Across the Pond, Inside the Drag Closet, Step into the Paranormal, Just Cindy, Where's My Sage, Unfiltered Talks with Bryce, Metal Mayhem ROC, Paratalk Radio, Real Talk with Dom, and more. So download the Spotify app today to stay connected to all your WLFE-DB radio shows.
You've been listening to WLFE-DB.com, where our shows are your shows.
Hey guys and dolls, this is Casey DeVille, the better half of DeVille Inc., Baltimore, Maryland. If you're ever in Baltimore, stop in and see me and Tony. Invisible Bree, 5920 Eastern Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21224. Give us a call if you're in the area, 410-400-9641. Or look us up on the web at DeVilleInc.com. DeVille Inc., where we specialize in you.
You're listening to WLFE-DB Radio. Now, back to our program. You're listening to WLFE Digital Broadcast Radio in Ontario, New York.
Real Talk with Dom. It's a new spin on variety. Dom's created a show that puts his guests in the spotlight. Whether you're a musician, a poet, wrestler, or merch creator, he gives you the opportunity to promote you. Real Talk with Dom is a real no-nonsense show. Don is down-to-earth, critically truthful, and real as it gets. So if you're looking for a standalone, think outside the box kind of a show, then Real Talk with Dom is a show for you. Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern.
What's happening, my friends? It is Monday night, 10 p.m. Genevieve, we are here. We are now.
Hello.
All right, so we got a little bit of time to kill. Our guest will be here momentarily. We have a pretty cool show tonight. We have actress, model, personal trainer, tarot reader, also director, Genevieve Rossi in the house tonight. She'll be here. We'll go into her career, everything she is. At the moment, we do have, we have a lot of cool shows, variety of, definitely check out all the hosts, of what we do. Genevieve, what's going on tonight? It's Monday. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm checking out all the comments already. They were coming in well before you even got on.
It's awesome.
As you're doing all of your commercials.
I finally got through all the commercials with no hassle.
You did. Cindy, I'm doing much better. Thank you.
Let's go through all the comments. Everyone, thank you for being here. Definitely like, follow, and share WLFE-DB. Go there first. Then Real Talk with Dom, and of course the Creepy Parlor. What's up, Mikey? What's up, everyone? Ted is in the room here too. He's gonna jump in here. There's Desiree. What's happening, my friend? I had to stream right now. Ted, heads up. There you go.
Heads up. I'm in the
What's
dark.
going on, man?
Hi, Teddy.
Hey, how are you?
All right. How are you?
I'm good. I heard about your pink eye.
I have no makeup on tonight.
Yeah, well,
It's terrible.
Pink eye will get you.
I know.
What's up, Calvin?
So,
Jillian, 25 minutes of commercials is less of Dom, so I'm okay with that.
I know. And just he's got to stop playing so many damn commercials in the beginning.
We'll see when I play him in the middle. My cousin even laughed at that. He's in the back right there. Desiree,
That's
what's
amazing.
happening, my friend?
That's
Cindy.
Oh, thanks, Cindy.
You still look beautiful.
Yes, she does. In fact, I just did something really cool today. I'll share with you guys. You'll be the first to know about it. I love you too, Chanel. I've been revamping the WLFE-DB.com website.
Oh, that's exciting.
When you go there and you open up the website, you're going to see a brand new picture in the background, and it is the WLFE red, white, and blue logo.
Nice.
And it also has pictures of the majority of our hosts for all their shows right there on the front as well. So it looks really nice.
That's really
and then
cool.
if you scroll down, you got all 3 TV channels right there to watch. Right in
cool.
line.
So it'd be nice and easy.
Nice and easy. So you can watch Paranormal View TV, you can watch Variety Unlimited, and you can watch the LGBTQ Friends right there.
Awesome. I got some cool ideas for our contest. Jillian's going to help me film it. Yes.
That's good. I'm excited. I put the reminder out today for the contest to get everybody rolling.
Making our new commercials.
Yeah.
There's something for you. There's Nancy.
Thanks.
The busy girls. What's happening, Nancy? Hope you're doing well, and we miss you here.
There's Mama Santasario.
Yeah, she's in here. What's up, Mom? Of course, I could just scream in the next room.
Mikey.
My mom's on here too. Say hi to my mom, Mary.
I can see Mikey here, but we're going to scroll right over Mikey since he doesn't mention us.
Oh.
You can't do that to him.
We love you. What's happening,
Teddy
brother?
loves the love. Teddy loves the love, Mikey. Come on. I'll keep it. I'll keep it. The hell with them, right? I'm okay with that.
So there's a lot of Ted. I could see in the back chats and stuff like that. There's a lot of new shows coming and stuff like that. What are some of these new?
Well, one of the newest ones right now that I am really looking forward to is on the LGBTQ Friends page or TV channel. It's a brand new show called Rainbow Soul.
I saw that. I'm excited.
It's gonna be hello, Jillian Trillian. You still hate me? Anyways,
she hates me.
She doesn't like me very much either. But
that is not true.
Spank you very much, Teddy. Oh, thank you. But anyways, I'm really looking forward to this because it's opening up a doorway because, in the LGBTQ plus community, there is a lot of this transgender thing happening, and they're getting a lot of slack from their own as well. So we are actually having a brand new TV show, a vodcast, and podcast all in once. They're doing all three like the rest of us are. And it's called Rainbow Soul, and they're going to bring up topics from anything and everything from their point of view.
Oh, that's
which
excellent.
I think is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, and much needed.
Teddy lies. Yeah. On my back, watching TV and sipping a beer, baby. You know it.
He goes, yes. Let's laugh.
Yes.
Mikey's got this Robert Stack voice that he does for us, and with the attention, and like he's like, Dom's got 2 books, and he does it so perfect. So it's really, we'll get that on there one day, but it's fun.
Oh no. We ain't gonna no whipping crop and no paddle to use on Teddy. No.
So tonight we have GENEVIEVE coming in.
Well, I'm actually gonna tell you something about GENEVIEVE. GENEVIEVE, Rossi, and myself been friends for a long time.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
she's an amazing individual, and she's a director as well as an actress. And she has been at the Rochester Winter Parafest 3 years now. Yep. She didn't make the last 2, but hopefully we'll get her on the next one. Fantastic individual. I love her to death. We brought her out to a club in Rochester called Nashville's. It was a country bar restaurant type stuff, and we had a blast. And if you ever get the opportunity to hang out with her, she's amazing. Literally.
She is also I when I was researching her a little bit, she is one of the world's
she was like number 3 for the Scream Queens. Is that where you're
going?
That's
exactly what I was getting at. Yes.
World.
Yep. Yeah. She's one of the most well-known Scream Queens. That's exactly right, then. Yeah. So she has a huge background in film, and that's what I love because that's what I come from myself. And I encourage anyone who's watching tonight to if I don't get to you, I'm sorry. I'm going to also put my Facebook on here to see who is also in here because I get complaints that I don't ever, catch all the comments. But I want
it's hard to catch them all.
It's very hard. Yeah.
I want everyone to ask her questions about the film world that, like, if I miss something, ask. Why not? Yeah.
Make sure you bring up her chicken movie.
Yeah, no, I have the entire thing. Like with
chickens are terrifying to me.
Yeah, she directed and created a movie all on her own, and it's something about a chicken. I can't remember right now. I can't remember if it was Attack of the Killer Chicken or something like that.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
The Attack of the Killer Chicken. And so yeah, check it out. But she's worked with some of the biggest names in horror film, and she's an amazing individual. And I fell in love with her. I got some really cool pictures of her and I hanging out, which I'll always, cherish. So she's just a great individual, and she's from Jersey.
In the house. So yeah, she has a really her IMDb, like, definitely check it out. So I'll just put that up real quick.
Lankley.
Yeah,
I can't say it.
What I used in the advertisement? It was I don't even remember, but yeah, it's big. She's got a lot of lot going on, and the crazy thing is she travels so much. Conventions. We'll get into that. Talk about the conventions.
What time is she supposed to be on, Tom?
She said that she'd be here at 10:15. But yeah, we'll give her some. We'll give her some time. I mean, there's no rush. We're here till midnight. It's gonna be an easy, fun little show. Exciting.
Well, I'm not going to stick around, but I'm going to watch. I mean, I'd like to say hi to her quick, but
yeah, no, absolutely, definitely say hi.
I'm just so excited about everything that's happening for us lately. Things have been really good for WLFE, and more things are happening. So
it's very exciting.
The TV shows the channels are going really well. And real quick, I want to say that you don't realize how much more extra work I have to do.
Sorry.
On top of everything else you do as well.
Oh
yeah.
my God, but it's so much. It doesn't really bother me. I love it. It's, it's just getting the content to roll, getting enough content to put on there. So with having new shows, that helps take up some of that time.
Yeah.
But having you guys with this challenge, it gives us new commercials. It gives us new things to put on there as well. And it's just going to be great. I'm excited about it.
I just don't have I think it's a great idea of what you came up with. It actually brings out the creative side of people.
And the competition.
The competition.
The competitiveness.
I love competition. I love competition. Are you kidding me?
And it's so pissing me off that I don't have time to do one because I'm in the middle of a move. I have 2 weeks.
Oh, maybe we'll do it next year, Dom.
Yeah. I have 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks left here, and I'm like, I want to get production crews in. I want to get helicopters and everything everywhere.
Oh my God, he's gonna make an action film right down there.
But I literally I just don't have time to do it. But I encourage the family to make one.
I can't add that up, or I would. It's funny. Jillian's like new commercials for Dom to play before his show.
At least I got them all out.
Let me say something here. Now, first of all, Dom is supposed to be playing one commercial and his intro. Not all those commercials. He's supposed to be doing halfway through his show, play the 2-minute section of commercials, and then at the end, play his outro in a commercial. This guy plays every goddamn commercial I give him, and he doesn't need to do that. I mean, I appreciate
it's all
it.
Or nothing. It's all or nothing with him.
It's like, Jesus, attention.
Hey, listen, I had some time to kill. I mess this up often with commercials. At least I got them all out. Come on, guys. What's going on around here?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to complain. At least I know they're being played.
Exactly.
It's one of those things. So, it's funny, but just don't overdo it, man. Don't kill it. Don't kill it.
And if anyone's going to call you out, it's going to be Jillian.
Oh, I know.
Exactly.
She's always watching.
Well, I was thinking about. I love that he has the not back to our show and then cut to 35 more commercials. There you go, Jason. Jason says I'm learning not what to do on my commercials. There you go.
Oh,
I just had time to kill, guys, and we did it. It is just what it is. I'm sitting in the back.
Any other shows that are watching, do not follow Dom's the way he does things. Do not follow him. If he jumps off the bridge, just point and laugh because that's what I'm doing. Do not follow him.
I'll throw him a rope.
I'm glad that you got all stick tuned. You're all here watching, like, oh my God, commercial, and then here we are, and then commercial.
They stayed.
Yeah, it's killing me. And,
I love it.
This you got to get rid of this DB background. That's too busy, man. You just need black or.
I don't know what's going on. I kind of like busy. All the shows are always busy too. Everything I do is chaotic and busy.
We know. In 35 commercials before your show even starts. We know.
She goes, Ted.
Hello, Nancy. How are you?
Nancy says, Ted.
Hi, Nancy.
Don't say format because there is no format. Yeah, there is no format. It's chaotic.
Yeah, there is a format. He just doesn't follow it.
As I get yelled at by everyone, he listens to nobody.
No, pretty much he does what he wants. Until Teddy's missing a foot and he's got the foot up somewhere.
And I haven't gotten fired in a long time. So I've been, I don't know. I've been kind of.
He begs for it.
Little bit is here. She goes, hi,
give him that reinforcement. Oh, hi, little bit.
Oh my God, Jillian.
Oh my God,
she's going to be my first banned guest.
That's funny.
You can't ban her.
No.
I will. I'll walk.
No, you won't. You're co-pilot forever.
You ban her, you're in trouble.
You did send her the link, right?
Yeah, no, she's got it on there. If you want to reassure, you could check out. You could go into my stuff and resend it. But yeah, she's got the same thing that you have. I'm just waiting on her. And like I said, there's no rush. Genevieve, we're going to talk about. We thought about some things. we were maybe talking about some urban legends since I'm moving to Jersey and stuff like that. And
we
you know,
can
she's
love
got
Little
that.
bit, you have got to stop. Little bit, you have got to stop. Dom is not so sexy.
I didn't even put a hat on tonight. I shaved up and made like a little pirate look. I'm like,
which is funny because I almost wore a pirate patch.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, I was going to tell you that.
But a little bit, I want you to know in the backstage, Tom's here too, and I know that you like Tom too. So just say hi to Tom in there. His face, I just got the middle finger.
Wow.
There's Desiree as well. All right, yeah, we're going to talk about urban legends as well. Genevieve, you want to play with some of this?
No.
Teddy doesn't want to.
I don't care what Teddy wants. Teddy's leaving anyway.
So, you gotta stay in.
No, actually, I did have a couple things to say. One, I wanted to say,
Sure.
Genevieve, I'd like to get you and your sister on Paratalk to talk some night, because I think it'd be great to have you and your sister together on their show.
We'll have a good time.
Yeah, I think it would be fun. And Dom, I may have something after you get settled. We're going to be doing. Wait, let me finish.
No, I'm saying our guest is in the room, by the way.
Okay, cool. We are going to be doing some live paranormal investigation stuff, so I'm probably going to be looking at you running the StreamYard for that, unless Genevieve wants to. But we're going to be doing some live stuff. Maybe we can split it up between the two of you. That would be great.
That would be so much fun.
I could definitely help you out with that, and that'd be great.
I'm just working it on my end because I've got like 3 or 4 investigations coming up, and we're going to be doing some live stuff. And
very cool.
Very cool.
That's exciting.
I would love to be a part of it.
All right, well, bring your guests in here.
Without further ado, let's bring her in.
Hey there, how are you doing today?
What's happening, my friend?
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Genevieve! How are you?
Genevieve.
Yeah, nice to see you all. I hope everybody's having a great day.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right,
you're gonna come back to Winter Parafest? You're gonna come back to Winter Parafest here soon?
Oh, for sure. As soon as you have it again. I'm ready to go.
I haven't seen you in a long time, so I figured I'd pop in and say hi quick, and let Dom do his thing. That's all.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
We're doing all right. We're doing okay.
Good.
I've been keeping up with you and watching things. So yeah.
Ted, stay in too.
What's that?
I was gonna say stay here and help, because it's really cool because you know her, and we were Genevieve, we were talking very highly of you in the beginning because you are a well-known scream queen. You have a lengthy film career and stuff like that. So I thank Ted for helping me out finding you.
Thank you, and I'm glad you guys connected and got me on the show. Thank you.
For sure. So, with being an actress and stuff like that, you have a lot coming up. You travel constantly. What made you want to become an actress from the start, like from going back to childhood? I definitely want to know that because I come from the same world you do.
Well, I guess always when I was a little kid, I was fascinated with film and movie stars and playing dress up with my friends with like wigs and everything, and like the whole idea of, I guess, performance. And the whole idea of being a movie star or a celebrity kind of thing. And then, like, when I was a kid, I gravitated to reading Fingora magazine and Stephen King novels. And that got, and also old horror movies. My father got me turned on to, like, the old Vincent Price types of movies because they're kind of wholesome for a small kid to watch compared to other horror movies. And that kind of, I guess, pushed me in that direction from a very young age. And then, I had the opportunity to be in a horror movie, so I kind of took it. And then everything kind of happened from there.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Exactly.
So I love the fact that you love horror. Growing up as a kid, I believe one of my first 2 movies I got to watch as a child, and we're talking like maybe 5, was Pet Sematary, and then The Night of Living Dead. So I'm a horror kid
Night
myself.
of Living Dead is one of my absolute favorites.
It's an icon movie. I mean,
classic.
Yeah. It's perfect.
The black and white version. I mean, there was a lot of remakes too that were all good, but yeah, the black and white was great. So within the horror aspect of it, you know, because I'm a nerd when it comes to movies. I love this as far as like, because being in the film world, being on sets and stuff like that. So I want to talk more behind the scenes with you here, like, you know, what goes on behind the sets and stuff like that. You are also a director as well, which is exciting because I want to pick your brain with that. When you go into these roles, with the audition, like how do you put your mindset to that? I mean, like as an actress, and then like, you know, just coming into these roles as far as like, hey, I want to play this character. How do you find that within yourself? Like where do you go to?
Where do I find that? To
become that character, because you have so many different roles. Like how do you separate each character, and how are you able to like when you audition for it, like how do you like literally find that in your stomach to like, hey, you know, I got to do this and stuff like that, research and all of that?
I guess what you're saying is the inspiration for the role.
The
right?
inspiration, right? Yes.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't really audition that much, to be honest, but it's rare. But I usually, like, people usually contact me and they tell me about a role they're interested in me playing, and then we discuss it. And I guess in the end, it's like, you know, is it something I think is going to be challenging or interesting or maybe different? And then I guess like Johnny Depp, I think, said it the best, where like, you know, every role that you play, you put part of yourself into.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that makes it like genuine, that makes it real. For you and for the people watching, because you got to find the commonality between you and every character, whether it's a cannibal or like a serial killer or like a witch or like a mother or you know, someone that's in the military battling zombies. You know, there's always maybe a part of you in every character that's like your starting point, and then trying to imagine yourself in this situation and in this, as this person reacting to the situation in this way, and then kind of like becoming the character more or less. It's almost like very it's almost like kind of like a mystical or spiritual thing, where like it's almost like in the scenes that you shoot that you are really becoming that character, that you feel like you are that person, you know.
I do. Is there a favored role that you
took
that
my
you would
question.
I took Genevieve, that's the question.
A favorite role that I've played?
No, not just that you played. Like, yeah, what's one of your favorite roles that you played in a movie? But there's another question on top of that I want to ask. What a role?
Okay, well, I would say like some of my favorite roles would be the ones that I found the most challenging. And I would say like maybe Apocalypse Kiss, because I'm 9 months pregnant and I give birth in that film. And that was really challenging. And another one would be Hunters, because I think that's my most disturbing role. And I think that was challenging to bring myself into this headspace of being like insane and murderous and crazy, you know, kind of person that abuses children, maybe rapes people, you know, things like that. To bring yourself into such a dark space, I think is very challenging as an actor when you're not really that dark of a person to begin with, you know. That could, you know, that was a challenging role. So that was Hunters, and then Apocalypse Kiss, because you know, I'm giving birth and kind of embracing that whole thing, and trying to make that seem like real and genuine. So I think those two would be two of the ones that I found the most interesting and the most challenging, you know.
Yeah, and it's crazy when you bring that up. When you think about putting yourself in roles, because you know, when I do things like even now, does it ever bring you like a personal anxiety? Like afterwards, it's like, you know, does it make you like think and just like, oh my God, like, did I do the right thing? Has any role ever made you kind of like shut down for like a couple days? It's like, oh my God, I just got through this.
That's a good question. I think the only role that kind of like disturbed us the most, and this kind of brings a little bit into your paranormal universe, is when we shot a movie called The Sadist. And it was filmed in Philadelphia in a real murder house where a man had murdered his whole family. And I think we felt like there was a lot of residual energy there. And when we were doing our roles, it was a horror movie, you know, the acting was very dark and very twisted, but it also felt very real. And then I think afterwards, myself and the person I was in the scene with, Adam, we both kind of felt some of that residual negative energy coming, home with us when we went home and went to bed and woke up the next day. But I think that was almost like a kind of like a paranormal thing, or maybe just psychologically knowing that we're filming a really disturbing horror movie in a place where pretty much a real life horror movie occurred,
Right.
like years ago, where a man, just came home and murdered his family. The whole idea of monsters, like monsters exist. That somebody like that comes home one day and murders their whole family for no real reason is as scary as any werewolf or Dracula. The unpredictability of human beings and human psyche, is a frightening, disturbing thing. And maybe there was some residual energy in the house that kind of we tapped into. But usually you'd be surprised when we do a horror movie, even though it's deeply disturbing, how lighthearted the set is, and usually how lighthearted things are afterwards. Because when you're in the scene, it might feel real for that moment, or you might feel real when you're, method acting and in that universe. But, all of the blood, the special effects and everything are very, very fake. Like when you're chopping off somebody's head, it doesn't even seem like you're really chopping off somebody's head at all when you're doing it. Because
I would hope not.
And the editing and everything, even when you're in the moment doing it, you're trying to make it appear real, but when you're doing it, it doesn't seem real at all. It's just kind of like an editing thing that makes it look real. Mm-hmm. But it's not like that when you're actually doing that. And a lot of horror stuff is kind of like that. Like when I was in Herschel Gordon Lewis's Blood Mania, my leg is getting cut up. There's blood shooting everywhere from a blood pump. And that was a pretty gross scene. I think it made me a little nauseous at the time because the special effects are really good. But, we have this mechanical pump that's like shooting blood all over the room. Mm-hmm. So it looks really fake as the actor in the scene. Like, that there's really just a blood pump, pumping things around and stuff like that.
I think that if it was real, I mean, there'd be a lot of extra PTSD out there, unfortunately, because the way people are so sensitive today about things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would definitely.
So on that note, though, when you have an experience like what you were talking about, where you're filming in a place where there was a murder that took place and things get a little bit heavy, how do you disengage from that?
Well, that was the only time I think that really, really happened. So I think we did the scene. I remember Adam and I had a little bit of a fight scene. He ended up cutting my lip and almost breaking his hand.
Like really cutting your lip, or like fake
cutting it a little bit, not like super bad, but I was bleeding a little bit. And then he got really passionate about the scene. He was punching the wall, and he came very close to breaking his hand. And I felt like the scene got very intense, and we ended up kind of improvising a little bit, and it was a little raw. And then I think, in our dialogue and everything, it almost felt like the terrible things he was doing and saying, like, was really meant for me. And the horrible things I was doing and saying were really very personal for him. Which usually it doesn't feel like that, but sometimes that does happen in a movie where the acting, and you just feel so genuine in that moment that when you tell somebody all these horrible things, that sometimes it almost feels kind of real.
It's kind of crazy, like jumping on Genevieve, like Spiderweb in that one. Like if the place is technically haunted, is all those emotions might be activating the entire
absolutely.
It's like kind of crazy because there's so much emotion going in, and I love the way you said that, Genoveva, because when I could put myself back into acting, and I realized that I got a little bit intense myself on some scenes where you hit things a little harder than you should. You just start feeling the moment. So I totally relate to what you just said as that goes. And it's like the cameras technically aren't there anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's like you're now the character. It's intense. So I appreciate you saying that. And for anyone that has never been in the acting world or entertainment world, you have to put your all into it in order for it to be believable. If not, then you just have nothing.
Exactly. Especially if you're someone that's involved with method acting. you know, which a lot of people, you know, some of the greatest actors in the world, like Heath Ledger, Marilyn Monroe, you know, a lot of people are method actors, meaning when you're a method actor, you really feel as though you become that character, you know.
Well, that's why I brought up the anxiety.
Mhm.
Heath Ledger alone.
Well,
That when you said that, you made me think of Heath Ledger. And when he became the Joker, he was mentally there, still the Joker.
it's being an empath. It's being a full-on empath. You're taking on all of that.
And that probably happened to Marilyn Monroe in a lot of her roles too, because she was a very sensitive person, and she really got inside of her roles as well, and kind of like emulated and became those people. So that maybe had a big psychological effect on her as well, you know, especially with her having maybe a little mental illness or being a little unstable, you know. So yeah, you know, I can see how that probably would happen with a lot of actors, you know. I know even Brad Pitt, when he did Interview with a Vampire, he said he had a kind of a hard time with that particular role,
Yeah.
you know, because of the darkness of the film and things like that. Because, you know, you're shooting the movie and we could be shooting it for weeks on end, and it's hard not to take that home with you. Something, and we're on set sometimes, you know, 16-hour days. So like your whole day is pretty much spent being in this character and being in this mindset, especially if it's a very dark place. Yeah.
Well, I do know that, like, from the past, the original Superman actually at one point thought he could really fly, you know, and he killed himself. And then if you go back and think of Brendan Lee, he played the Crow, and he was a method actor as well. I mean, there was a lot of things that he took into that as well, and it actually added to his demise as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of actors out there that they can't separate it. They don't have that wall of separation from, hey, I'm just acting versus, you know, what it is. So there's got to be something in the mind somewhere that just says, hey, I can't break out of this character. I'm stuck, you know.
Well, and that probably depends on you being able to control yourself and your emotions really well, where you can transition out of the role back into yourself. And then it might also depend on the person and their own mental health.
Yeah, the psychological part was what I was talking about. Yeah, not being able to separate.
Yeah.
I mean, because we do know in history, I mean, you can look at some of the actors that have passed because of things in history, you know, of sad situations like that, not being able to separate themselves from the original role to their daily life, you know.
And unfortunately, I know someone similar that, you know, had that same, you know, kind of took them over. So yeah, I totally get it. And I being in this field, I totally understand. And Genevieve, I'm gonna, you know, our good brother T Roy says, wait, hold up, Yuppers, long days. That's what I want to get into. So explain to everyone when you show up at set, like explain the time that it takes to actually get this done. And like, you know, not everyone understands the movie world, and it's like fascinating to most who've never been there, but like these hours that we all put in, like explain that.
Well, I'll tell you, like, I'll use maybe Army of the Dead, Zack Schneider's film that I'm a zombie in, that'll be released on Netflix, I think in May, as an example. Like, that's a pretty extreme one, but I play a zombie. So I get on set 2 a.m., right? 2 a.m. is the start of my workday. And then, you know, I go to wardrobe. I put on my zombie outfit. Then I go to makeup. And then everybody's going through makeup. There's a limited amount of makeup artists. They have to make up dozens of zombies for the day. Makeup could take us until 8 o'clock in the morning to get everybody made up. Wow. So 6 hours later.
And it's not comfortable makeup, right? It's not like you're not just hanging out. You're in like latex makeup.
You could be, for sure.
Yeah.
Everybody's made up a little bit differently. Some people are maybe more involved than others, where they're going to maybe have a hard time drinking, eating, or speaking, or things like that. You know, everybody has maybe a slightly different prosthetic. And then, okay, it's 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're finally ready to shoot. So now we're shooting the film, but then, you know, you run into different kinds of delays and things like that happen. And before you know it, you know, when we break for lunch and we break for, you know, breakfast and dinner and whatever. And then eventually you look at your clock and it's your watch and it's like, wow, we've been at this for like 16 hours now.
Mm-hmm.
But how many hours does it take just to get rolling when we're working in this special effects universe?
Mm-hmm.
From 2:00 in the morning to like 8:00 in the morning is just us getting ready to shoot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we're shooting after that, and you want to shoot as long as you can with everybody after you've spent so much time on makeup and things like that.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
So it's a pretty intense. And that's the thing that we have with the horror genre is it's a very special effects driven genre, more than like drama or comedy or romance would be. It's about the blood, it's about the gore, it's about the makeup, and that takes time. It's very artistic, it's very creative, and it takes time.
I totally understand. I mean, I've been on sets that it took us 2.5 hours to set up lights, cameras, the backdrops. Of course, you have to do the artsy side of setting up the props. It took us 2.5 hours on things for like a 10 to 15 second shot.
Wow.
And then done. Move the lights, guys. Move the lights.
Yeah, lighting is so important. You have to have just the right lighting. Yeah, you could spend a lot of time on lighting. And then the lighting changes if you're shooting outside. Oh, shit, we lost the light.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Because we only have a certain amount of time if we're shooting a scene that's supposed to take place in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. If we keep on doing multiple takes and shooting a scene, the light will change, and then you have to finish shooting the next day.
You're exactly right. Shooting here in Florida.
Rain.
That's what. Yeah, I was just gonna get into that.
The worst. That's gotta be the worst.
We have people here. It's so funny that you say that, Genevieve. It's like we have people when we shot outside here in Florida. We go to these parks and stuff. So there's clouds moving. You see the rain clouds in summer times. It's like we have a cloud guy where it's like, all right, guys, in about 10 seconds, get ready to hit record. And they're watching the clouds come over just to get that perfect amount of beam on. There's lights everywhere still, but yeah, you're totally right. How much the light can change outdoors, and it changes everything, timing, all that. So yeah,
exactly.
All right.
Especially when you're shooting. If you're shooting in black and white is actually very forgiving, and I think that's why a lot of independent films and horror movies probably were shot in black and white, because you can or like The Clerks was shot in black and white, because you can shoot any time of day and it pretty much looks the same in black and white, but not color.
It's true.
Especially now, too.
My friend Gloria is in here. What's up, Gloria?
What's up?
So going back to you as a kid and stuff like that, I want to kind of go everywhere with this. What were your influences as far as actors, actresses, things like that? Was there a certain individual you looked up to?
That's a good question. Well, my father really turned me on to old school horror movies, like the Vincent Price kind of movies, because he liked those because he figured you're young, they're wholesome, they're not exploitative, they don't have a lot of swearing or nudity, they don't have a lot of gore. It's more like psychological. So, so I would say that they left like an imprint on my mind. So I always feel like I was very affected by The Pit and The Pendulum. Vincent Price and Barbara Steele. So I always think of Barbara Steele as being a really iconic horror actress to me. With that long black hair and those beautiful eyelashes and that really distinctive face and eyes and mannerisms. I always just think of her as being like that. And then also Ingrid Pitt. I always liked Ingrid Pitt, like Vampire Lovers. What was it? Countess Dracula. She was a little racier, I guess, at her time period as well. So I like those kinds of old movies in those regards. So I always kind of think those are very classic and iconic. And they really stand up to the test of time, because people have been watching Barbara Steele, Vincent Price, Ingrid Pitt in movies since like the 60s and 70s, and people still watch them.
I still watch them all the time.
Actually,
perfect background. I love it.
We're a bunch of friends hanging out here too, and I get so into this movie stuff. Actually, Genevieve and Ted, what were some influences growing up as far as like your favorite actors and actresses and stuff like that? I'm just curious now.
You can go first, Ted.
All right. Well, for me, it was really different because I didn't start out in the horror genre. I mean, even though some of my favorite movies today are vampires and werewolves and all that stuff. I mean, big into the sci-fi was my stuff. I mean, I was Robert Conrad was one of my favorite actors of all time, and he had a couple of great movies, but the ultimate for me was John Wayne. I was raised in a family where John Wayne was one of those iconic actors. You, whenever his movie came on, you sat down and you watched it. You know, that's my dad was big into it, which kind of rubbed off on me. You know, people say he wasn't a great actor, but 100 and something movies later, I mean, come on, and he's still an icon today. You know, and but I kind of value the directors and the people that write this stuff as well, because some of them have some great minds. I mean, just think about Steven Spielberg's mind. I mean, just think about how he comes up with some of this stuff and the way he presents it and puts it together, and it's just amazing stuff. I love all that stuff, but that's just me.
I love it. There's a question for anyone here. That's from Chanel.
Boris Karloff. I mean, that stuff, that's like the best.
Yeah.
Like Bela Lugosi stuff is like some of my favorite stuff. I really got more into horror through reading more so than movies, but just watching like Tales from the Dark Side and things like that growing up, like those were like my things. But Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, all those guys, absolutely, positively love them. And I'm the type that I fall in love with the monsters.
Right.
Like, I watch Frankenstein and I'm just like, oh, my heart breaks for the monster. I watch Phantom of the Opera and I'm like, why did she not go with the Phantom? So, that's, that's how you know it's a good monster.
Yeah. I think
and
all
they're
that
all
stuff is beautiful.
looking for love, all these monsters, too.
Exactly.
Think about it. They're all looking for love. The Phantom is looking for love. Dracula is looking for love.
Exactly. And I am willing to love them.
Well, Genevieve, what was
way too much about me right there?
Well, who was your inspiration growing up as far as when you see an actor or actress, Genevieve? I want to know with you too. Still, the curiosity kills the cat.
Like my actors and actresses I want to emulate the most?
Yeah.
Well, that I would really want to be like, or have like that kind of career. I always like Vincent Price, because Vincent Price is like the John Wayne of horror movies.
Yeah.
Because two of them were so prolific that I just loved being that prolific that you can like look at your resume and see yourself in hundreds of movies. And both of them were. They were both very typecast, but typecasting really worked out well for them.
Yeah.
It did. Typecasting is not always a negative thing. Sometimes actors suffer from being typecast, and some actors suffer from not being typecast.
I agree with that. And technically, every role I've been in, I am typecasted now here in Florida alone until I get up north. But I've been a bad guy in every role. I've been a bad guy in every role there could be.
Well, look at you.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But I want to go back to Ted's point, and Genevieve, this is this is my next question for you. We're going to go into the director side of it. The thought process it takes. You are a director as well. Tell me the process, and tell me some of the ones that you have directed and things like that, and some of your favorites, and the thought process going into it, and all of the above.
Well, I directed a short film that we're currently turning into a feature through our production company, Cluck Cluck Productions. It was based on a short film I did a few years ago called Attack of the Killer Chickens. And now we're currently working on Attack of the Killer Chickens, the movie. So it was a 6.5-minute short film. And it went to over 40 film festivals, and I think it won 7 awards, which was pretty good for my first attempt at directing. I wrote it, directed it, and started it with some really great actors that I'm friends with. And then we decided to make it into a feature-length film that we're working on right now. We're on in post-production on. So that and that movie really pays homage to all of these wacky horror and sci-fi movies that I love from like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, like, Kingdom of the Spiders, Night of the Living Dead, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, like really bizarre movies. And then my friend Ed said my directing style is akin to if Ed Wood and John Waters had a baby. I would have that baby. If it was possible for two men to have a baby, and that baby would be female, and that baby would be me.
That's amazing. And the Killer Tomatoes was such an iconic movie. I mean, people, it was one of my favorite movies. You know, there was even one that was a kind of a spoof off of that called The Bionic Watermelon, and it was an amazing, funny short film. It was only like 3 or 4 minutes long, but it was one of those movies that you just like, who thinks up this stuff? But I'm glad they did, you know, and that's what your feeling is afterwards. Just that 2 or 3 minutes of just like, wow, that was crazy. But I'm glad they come up with something like that. And Genevieve, we saw your movie. You brought the movie to the Parafest, and we all watched it, and you know, we loved it. I mean, everybody loved the film. It was great. And I was telling these guys before you got on here, I said, make sure you talk to her about the Killer Chicken movie. I told them, I said, make sure you bring that up.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're still in post-production on it. We got a little delayed by the pandemic, but now, you know, probably it'll be out, I don't know, maybe late this year, early next year, the feature film. And we're pretty excited about it. We got a lot of really cool people involved in it. It was a real creative collaboration for me. It's a lot of work, writing, directing, and starring in a movie. It's so different being a director versus being an actor, because when you're like an actor, you're almost like the Incredible Hulk. Like, you show up, you do your thing, and then you move on to like the next episode, like a new town, a new area, you know, a new film. But when you're the director, it's like you're married to the film from like pre-production to post-production. And that could be months or a year that you're like married to this movie. Yeah. And that's like a really intense project. And you're there at every step of the way. It's a completely different process than being the actor, where you're just concerned about your performance and then you're done. And a lot of actors don't even watch themselves in movies. Like, I know Johnny Depp doesn't. I know Jared Leto doesn't. I know a lot of actors that I like never watch their own performances. I haven't even seen all of my performances. Because not everybody's comfortable watching themselves like in a film.
I hate hearing myself
on here.
Yeah, I hate hearing myself. So it's like, I can understand. I mean, it's just one of those things. But you know what, Dom and Genevieve, I'm got to get out of here. So I just wanted to come in real quick and say hi. It was nice seeing you again.
Nice seeing you, and I can't wait to come back to the show as soon as we have that again.
We will. We'll get you up there. We'll have a good time. In fact, we're all going to be together in. Well, I know the three of us. I think we're going to be in Gettysburg in August. But you know, that's always something you can always pop in for too. You know. So, all right.
Okay. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, not a problem. I just got done with my show, so I got some stuff to wrap up myself. And
that's what's up, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you. Much love.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So, Genevieve, there's a lot more to talk about. We have about an hour left. We don't have to go that long anyway. But there's a lot I want to go into. Genevieve as well. Because I really love the film aspect of it. What's the one thing with all angles of the roles that production holds? What's the one you love the most, and what's the one you do not want nothing to do with?
That's a tough one.
What's the one I love the most out of what?
Like, as far as all the roles. Okay, so there's director, DP, there's writer, editor, actress, all that. What's the one that you truly love, and what's the one that you hate?
Okay, well, I really like acting, I like directing, and I like writing. I would imagine probably what I would really not like is maybe like craft services, because I don't want to feed everybody necessarily.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
I don't like cooking that much. And another one would be probably editing is really challenging, because that's a very tedious thing to do. And it can be really hard to edit yourself as an actor or as a director, because you can be very emotionally attached to the material. And it might be hard for you to be objective in your editing.
I want to say you hit it right on the head with editing. For me, I want no part of it. I don't have the patience. There'd be so much broken stuff everywhere because I don't want nothing to do with it. Like you're in a dark room all day by yourself, going through clip after clip after clip. I'm just like, I wanted nothing. In film school, I wanted nothing to do with editing.
And I value that. I value it. It's a very important job as an editor. I don't think I would be necessarily good at it, but it is a very challenging job because you can have the best actors, the best director, and the best cinematographer, but if you don't have a good editor putting it all together, you're not going to have a good movie.
It's crazy that you say that too. Bouncing on that, a great editor would be a great director because they're the one that puts it together. I mean, that's your finished product right there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, so just diving into more. You travel a lot. What do you got going on and things like that? What's coming up in the future?
Well, coming up in the future, I have a film that I'm not allowed to talk about too much, but it's going to be in Kentucky. It's a horror movie, so I'm excited about that. I have 2 projects that are not horror movies. One's drama and one's fantasy, and those are going to be in Seattle coming up. So I'm really excited to be working on that with this gentleman named Sean, and that'll be really cool. I can't wait to do that one. Phoenix Productions. And then let's see, it's looking like another film with some really iconic horror stars, which we're not sure yet whether we're going to be filming in the New Jersey area or the LA area. We're trying to finalize locations. And then another couple horror movies, Z Dead End, which we're going to be filming out, I think, in California. It's looking like. And another one called Brain Hunter, which probably will be in New Jersey. I think right now I'm committed to maybe 7 movies that we're going to be shooting soon, because things kind of got backlogged with the pandemic. Yeah. And then I added some more films. And then once everything gets kind of back to normal, I think everything is going to kind of get pretty busy, which is good because I like busy. I did film a couple movies during the pandemic, though, and I'll give a shout out to them. I did do one film remotely during when we first locked down, called The Central Authority. And that was a completely socially distanced film. So that was cool. And then another one I did called The Witches of the Sands. The director is based in the United Kingdom. And he assembled a group of iconic cult actors from really all over the place to be in it. I think Linnea Quigley's in it. Brink Stevens, Lynn Lowry, Lloyd Kaufman. Whole bunch of people, really, interesting. Probably a lot more people than I just mentioned. Like so many people are in it. So that's The Witches of the Sands. That was really cool. So I did a couple films. I also did a documentary remotely during that time, but it's not released yet, so I don't have information on the documentary or what the name of it is. About like being in the horror genre and being in the whole B-movie indie genre. So I've been trying to keep busy and stuff, but things are going to probably get very busy soon. So Seattle, Kentucky, Los Angeles, and then doing some things kind of locally as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's, on top of that, when I talk about the traveling, you also do conventions as well, not just for roles. Like you're constantly at conventions. Can you want to dive into that a little bit just to let everyone know what they're about?
Sure. I've done a bunch of conventions, Virginia, West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina. My favorite one that I did was the Birmingham Horror Fest in Birmingham, United Kingdom, that I did a few years ago, where I got to hang out with Dwayne Whittaker and John Dugan and a whole bunch of really cool, iconic horror people. And we ate a lot of fun food and drank a lot of really good coffee and had a really good time in Birmingham, United Kingdom. Also Mark Patton, a whole bunch of people. So that was awesome. That was one of my favorites because it was nice to go to Europe again. I like Europe. And it's always nice to go down south to see everybody. It's always fun to do the convention because that's when we get to see the horror fans and see how our work has affected them. And you're just sometimes really surprised at what films people have seen. Like when I went to the United Kingdom, some people were like, I liked you in Haunting Day. And I'm like, Haunting Day? I'm like, that's like a short film, part of an anthology I filmed on Long Island. I didn't think anyone in England had ever seen it. Never mind really into it. you just don't realize what films that you're in, how they get distributed, and where people end up watching them, I guess. And then when I was down south, a couple Southern people were like, when we met you, we thought you were going to be Southern because in Hunters you have a Southern accent. So we thought you were going to be Southern. And I was like, no, I faked my accent, but thank you, because I spent a lot of time on it. I was speaking in a Southern accent for like weeks before we shot that. And I've also done like a French and Italian accents in movies too. And it's like I will speak in my accent for like weeks straight before we shoot the film. I want to think in the accent. I want to learn how to say everything in that accent so that it'll seem natural and almost instinctive in that moment. So it was interesting that somebody actually thought the accent was real, which is what you're kind of good for.
You did your job. Yeah. You did your job.
Yep.
So these conventions, just to talk about that a moment, you sign autographs, you take pictures, interact with the fans. Like what all goes on at say you have a booth, right? Mm-hmm. What all consists of your booth?
Well, I usually bring mostly a lot of signed pictures. I also bring some DVDs and posters and things along those lines. People can get a photo with me. They can buy a photo by autograph. Sometimes they have photo ops where I'm in a scene, like a horror scene, and you're in the scene with me. One time I had a Scream Queen photo op with, I think, Linnea Quigley, where you could get a picture with Linnea Quigley and I at a horror convention. It all depends on the convention, I guess, and what they want to do. Oh, and I like the Q&As that we do. Those are a lot of fun.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah, I've done some really fun ones. Like I did one where it was a bunch of us that were all like these modern Scream Queens talking about our movies and being Scream Queens and what that was about. And another time I was on a horror panel with Camille Keaton and Linnea Quigley because we've all been in a couple films together. So we're kind of talking about our commonality of the films that we were in together and things along those lines. And it's just kind of fun to be on these panels and get to like discuss the work with people and see people's excitement about it, because people get really excited about horror movies. Like we always ask people like, you've seen this movie, how many times have you seen it? And a lot of horror fans are like, we don't watch a movie once or twice, we watch it 20, 30, 40 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of you had said earlier, it's sometimes just like something you put on in the background.
It's home. It's comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you do other things too. I will step away from the acting world for a moment.
I got questions about that.
Okay, Genevieve, actually, you know where I'm going with it. Just dive right into it.
Yeah. You also
go ahead,
tarot?
fam.
You read tarot?
Yes, I'm a tarot card reader. I was just actually read for clients today, remotely. And I've been doing tarot card reading for a long time. And I've also played fortune teller or tarot card reader in a bunch of films because it's very organic for me to play that kind of role. And so often that we have a fortune teller character in a horror movie kind of foreshadowing what's to come, and things like that. Even in classic movies like the werewolf movies and stuff. So I read tarot cards. I also do some palm reading. I do sometimes even crystal ball gazing, or really any kind of divination that people ask me to do. I remember a while before the pandemic, I was doing lipstick readings.
How does that work?
Yeah, what is that?
I'm at an expensive high-end store where they sell lipstick. I encourage you to put on lipstick and to try it out, and then you blot your lips on a piece of paper, and then I read that print that you leave behind. Whoa. It's almost like a fingerprint because of all the lines and contours of the lip can be very detailed and very different from person to person.
The only time I'm ever going to put lipstick on is to get a reading from you. I promise that. And I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. We never end up getting a guy. I would not have a problem putting lipstick on a guy and doing a lipstick reading, or anybody. But we just, for whatever reason, didn't end up with one, which was like a shame. Because lipstick's fun. I have a lot of guy friends that wear lipstick. There's nothing wrong.
It's a lot of fun. How long have you been doing that? The readings in general?
In general, since I was a kid in high school, I guess sophomore year of high school.
It seems like that's around the age that it starts for all of us, around sophomore, freshman, sophomore year.
And getting involved in the metaphysical. I don't know. Sometimes
break out the Ouija board.
Does correlate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's really cool to know that you do that. So that's interesting. Now I definitely need a lipstick reading. Holy crap.
How do
Open
you
my
find
mind to something else. I learn something every day.
And start practicing by wearing lipstick. The perfect color. Yeah, because when I did the lipstick readings, it was really cute because not only you would try on your lipstick to try to find the perfect color for you, but then we would read you your lipstick print afterwards. You know, it was kind of like a two-pronged thing because if you're going to be trying on the lipstick, it's like the compulsion is that you want to make sure we have you trying on a really nice lipstick that's going to look good with your skin tone and your hair and match your style.
Buy it.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to put on lipstick and have it on for the rest of the day, you might as well pick a nice one.
Exactly.
Right?
What did I get myself into? I love it.
Yeah.
Well, you also
guy friends that wear lipstick that that are goth or emo or glam. You can find the right lipstick on a guy and it can look really cool. Same thing with eyeliner. Eyeliner can really look.
Eyeliner is the best.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's what got me in this mess. But eyeliner is a mess.
it was crazy. They used to. So check this out. If everyone's looking at me right now, this is going to be like new thing. It doesn't look like I have eyebrows. They used to have in all my headshots. They used to put makeup on me to make me look like I have eyebrows. Like this is like bleach. I used to have bleach blonde hair when I had hair, but yeah, it's crazy.
Not
so
uncommon.
Well, I would recommend when you're acting in a movie, you need to darken your eyelashes and your eyebrows.
They do it all the time, yeah, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
you
you
have to do that." Michael Caine, in his book on acting, discusses that him as a redhead. He said, if you don't have dark eyelashes and eyebrows, it's like your acting isn't fully being conveyed because eyelashes and eyebrows are just so expressive.
Exactly the expression, and it's like, yeah.
You really
you also do
that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You also do because I'm going to jump back into movies here in a little bit, and but you also you say you're a personal trainer as well. Is this something that you do as a side gig, or what is this?
Wait. Before she gets into this, I have to know how she has this much time to do all this stuff because that's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't have any kids. That just frees up my time a lot.
It does.
It does. It's amazing how much time you have when you don't have things like that going on. Well, personal training, a lot of times you do that a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the evening, usually for people before and after their work. And things like that. That's usually the personal training kind of schedules, like early morning, after work, like 5, 6 o'clock kind of thing. And I'm someone that I've been weight training, throughout my life. I'm really excited about weight training. I'm very excited about fitness. I'm a very regimented kind of person. People say to me, how come you're so thin and fit and whatever? And I'm like, well, I weight train every week, without fail. Every week I'm weight training. Pretty much no matter what happens, I'm weight training. And exercising and walking around and eating well and things like that. It's like a lifestyle.
Well, like you got like a certain diet plan too, I guess, right? If you say it's like, you're into it like crazy. So what's like the diet? Because, I'm into it as well. But I fluctuate. So there'll be like 2 or 3 months where I'm eating shrimp and just salads and hitting the weights heavy, and then I get bored. Then it's like back to cheeseburgers and pizza.
Wait to come to New Jersey.
Yeah, there you go.
We got the best pizza.
It fluctuates too. Maybe you might want to have like a week or 2 where you're lifting heavy, and then you might want to have a week or 2 when you're lifting light, and mixing up your routine a little bit. You don't want to always like lift heavy every week after week after week. You have heavy days, you have light days.
Yeah. And that confuses your system, right? To where your muscles actually grow.
Exactly. Because sometimes I feel like I make the most progress when I'm not even really lifting that heavy necessarily, but I'm being really consistent. And that consistency is actually the most important thing, is being consistent. It's not necessarily the intensity of it. It's the consistency of it. It's like the tortoise in the hare. Like the tortoise was really consistent. And that's important because you have to pick a routine and a diet that you can be consistent about. Because that's where you make your real progress and hopefully, aging well, externally and internally, where like you feel like you're a healthy person and things like that, and you look good, you feel good. Is that you have to be consistent in your whole routine. And, and people that are involved in fitness and eating well, you really just see like an, amazing difference in them. Like, like I just saw The Little Things with Jared Leto. So I've been doing some research on him. He's 49 years old.
Yeah.
He looks great. I follow him on Instagram. He looks great. Not that that's old, but it's not at all. But to look at him, I would think he was like 32 or something like that,
Yeah, totally.
Because he looks very youthful and very fit. But, but he's I think, a vegetarian or vegan. He weight trains. He's very regimented about things. He doesn't seem like he has any bad habits. He seems like he's a bright, cheerful person that avoids, toxic energy and things like that. It's, because being healthy is not just, it's how you eat, it's your exercise, but it's also spiritual too.
Yeah. So it's what you surround yourself with is what you bring in. And I always believe that myself. Jared, it's cool that you bring up Jared Leto as well, because I respect him as not only an actor, but a musician as well. It's diving in both worlds and stuff like that. And you're right. He looks great for his age, and not that that's old, but like he's just consistent with his lifestyle. It's like, he's just an entertainer.
I guess we shouldn't say that he looks great for his age, because maybe some people take that insulting.
Yeah.
He looks
great.
Unusually healthy and fit.
Mm-hmm. And he's the Joker now again, but he's got the long hair in the new trailer and stuff like that. I don't know if you've seen that. I'm like, wow.
I like him as the Joker in the Suicide Squad, because I think him, he and Margot Robbie had really great chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sexual tension and their compatibility, I think, was really there. And I do think he's a really talented actor in everything else. He just didn't have a lot of scenes. It was kind of like a minor role. And that's something that's kind of plagued him with his career a bit, is that he's an amazing actor and he's an amazing looking actor. But for whatever reason, a lot of movies like Fight Club or whatever, and Suicide Squad, he's more like a supporting actor that doesn't really get always the opportunity to shine.
Mm-hmm.
I
do. I totally understand.
It's hard to judge somebody and their performance in a film if they only have a couple scenes.
Right.
Versus someone like the Joker movie, where that particular actor had the whole entire movie to showcase himself. You can't really compare the two. I think everybody that's played the Joker has actually done a really great job.
Who's your favorite Joker?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I really think all of them were great. Like my father always liked Cesar Romero in the old TV show, because my father had met Cesar Romero many years ago. And then, and I think my father also liked that he was a great Latino actor, Cesar Romero, which there weren't a lot of Latino actors maybe in that time period on TV, because I think that show was from the 60s or 70s or something like that, the one with Adam West, Batman. And he was a great Joker. He looked cool. I loved his laugh and everything. Jack Nicholson, and the one, I guess in the 80s, I had seen recently. I thought, Jack Nicholson's pretty good in everything, and he's good at playing crazy. So, so he was a good Joker.
He is my absolute favorite actor, and that is my absolute favorite Joker.
Same.
But Jared Leto, I thought, was good. Heath Ledger was definitely good. Joaquin Phoenix was definitely good. Are there any other Jokers that I forgot?
Probably. There's been so
Mark
many.
Hamill.
Yeah.
Oh, the voice.
Skywalker.
The voice actor for Joker. Yeah, he's a cool dude too. Yeah. Think about all the different people that have played Joker, and I think everybody really has brought their own interpretation to it, but everybody was like a really great actor. So it's not a bad interpretation. It's just a different interpretation. It's a different Joker.
He's a great character.
Yeah, it's just a cool character.
Now,
how do we find you, Genevieve?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter, or you can find me on Facebook. You can also check out my website, www.GENEVIEVEROSSI.com. How do you spell that name?
It's right at the bottom.
OVEVAROSSI. Exactly.
It's scrolling across the bottom for you.
There you go. Perfect.
Everyone check her out. Really cool guest tonight. This is what's up. Now I want to dive into something even a little bit, going back into what we talked about earlier. You love horror. We talked about haunted areas, technically. Do you have any paranormal experience? Have you ever do you dive into like ghost hunting or have a really cool ghost story to tell?
I have done some ghost hunting. Me and my friend Tony did a ghost hunt a couple years ago where we went to this museum in South Jersey, and we had all the equipment, and we were going around looking for ghosts. It was pretty interesting. We did it partly as actors that we both kind of want to experience what it would be like to be ghost hunters and things like that. They kind of delve into that a little bit. So that was really interesting. And then I've also, been to like, seances and things along those lines, and had experiences where we were trying to maybe contact the dead, or we were purposely like in a haunted house, or maybe like being a kid using a Ouija board and things like that. All these different kinds of things. I just saw a Ouija board at like some game store in the mall the other day. I was like, it was on sale. It's out there right next to Monopoly. I'm like, play Monopoly.
I see it in the corner.
You see that, Genevieve? I make these things.
Yeah, it's funny that it's just like out there with Monopoly, but yeah. But not everybody takes it that seriously, so who knows?
It's fun stuff.
Yeah,
well,
I'm interested in the paranormal. I've read books on it, the whole idea of like, ghosts. I go on a lot of ghost tours when I travel. That's something I should say. Like whenever I've gone to like, usually when I travel somewhere like New Orleans or Savannah or Charlotte or anywhere like that, I usually go on a ghost tour.
Will you join me on a ghost tour, Genevieve?
I would.
Keyport, New Jersey.
We're going to Keyport with Genevieve. She runs the Jersey Shore ghost tours. Let's do that together. Also, when you talk about books, our friend Ted talks about the paranormal on here. He's got his books here. Let's see if I still have the banners to put them up. But he talks about the ghost hunting equipment, things like that. It's very cool, and it's awesome. Go buy those books, and also go buy my books as well.
You just got that right in there, didn't you?
I did. I have 2 books.
It pays to advertise, right? Marketing.
Always got to advertise. All right. So what at the place, your website, you have merchandise and stuff like that you sell out?
I usually save it for shows, but I should be putting it on the website too.
Yeah.
I just
Totally.
think like putting it on the website would take away from me the uniqueness of the experience of meeting me in person. But if anybody emails me, I do send signed pictures or messages me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I do send out signed pictures for like $20 a piece.
That's cool.
Or 2 for $30, I usually say.
You got Teddy cool. 2 books down there, just so you know.
Teddy 2 books. There we go.
Cool.
So within the acting career and stuff like that, is there a role that you really look forward to playing? Is there something that you have a dream for as far as like a major one, like that you just want to do?
Well, I'd love to be in a movie where I'm like an iconic female like villain, like something that would be on par with like Freddy Krueger or like Jason. We need to have that like franchise of movies where I go around killing people.
Yeah. Just make it happen. Just make it happen. When I moved to Jersey and stuff like that, I would love to work with you in a film and maybe network together, things like that. It's scratching each other's back as far as like making it in film. And that's one thing that actually made me leave film, was because there was so much selfishness involved that I just didn't want to be a part of it. And then like my roots came back, and it's like I miss this place. I miss being in film, and it's just like it's always there.
Well, that's a good point that you bring up. In good business, whether it's show business or any other kind of business, one hand should always wash the other.
Indeed, always.
Like we should be helping each other to reach a goal and become successful. Every film happens because of teamwork. It's not like one person makes a movie all by themselves. No.
Yep.
You have actors, you have cinematographer, you have the crafty person, you have
people
everybody.
Sweeping the floors.
Everybody's role is important in the film. We're all a team. The makeup artist, everybody, the transportation person, whatever. We all need each other. Like crafty is like such an important one, because what would happen if we didn't have food on set? Everybody would be so bitchy.
They're so pissed off all day long. I'm hungry. I get it. Like, Man, you know how many times, like, you know, when I started building sets, but I also swept floors. I went and got food for people and things like that. It was like the go-to Dom. It's like, hey, Dom, go do this, go do that. And I did it, but I made my way up all the way. And that's just, you know, you understand the process of film. Like that's what
you have to do that. Like that's how you get oriented. That's how you see how things work.
Well, that's a good work ethic to have. I remember working as a personal trainer at a gym years ago, and our manager, Brett, you know, he was the manager and he was making six figures, but he said, you know, if the janitor was sick that day, he said he would sweep the floor and he would take out the garbage. But you know what? Those are things that need to get done, and it's not beneath anyone to do them. And the same thing is true with film. No job is beneath anyone to do. Like, you know, like our, you know, if you had to go get pizza for everybody because everybody was starving and you were the only person available because you weren't shooting a scene, why not? Because people need to eat.
Yeah, what's the problem, right? You know, it is what it is.
We all need to help each other, and that is what that's all about. And that's what we should be learning, I think, a lot from this pandemic and what we've all been through together. It should be bringing us together and making us realize that we all really need each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really cool. Everything's an eye opener anymore, and you know, like not being able to get together with concerts, and you know, like I've said many times before, the last set I was on, everyone had masks on. Like this was a time like where we all used to get together and have like a lunch together, literally, like family oriented, like with commercials, and we're all just hanging, eating, laughing together. The last set I was on, we were like spaced out everywhere, eating lunch and staring at each other like, I wish we could sit together, but like priority comes first.
It's like we're all afraid of each other right now. You know, looking forward to this being behind us, because it's like, you know, it's crazy. It's like we're all afraid of each other and human contact and everything, that because you're afraid you're going to get sick from it. And it's a real fear, because I've had a number of friends that got, you know, this, virus and everything. So you want to be realistic, but at the same time, human beings crave companionship and connection.
Right.
Been very unnatural, you know, so you realize how important that connecting with other people, eating together, you know, being close to people, companionship, you know, seeing your family, seeing your friends, working together, not having to wear a mask all the time. All those things are super duper important, and all the things that maybe we took for granted. Maybe that's the takeaway of this, is that these are all the things that, we take for granted. You know, there was like some Jared Leto song I was listening to. What is it? 30 Seconds to Mars. I can't remember the name, but it was like, was it like Live and Let Die or something like that?
It's something, yeah.
And he's talking about how we never know. We have to live our lives fully, the song's about, because we never know when the world may change.
Yeah.
And that's really like a timely message, even though he did that song years ago, because we never know when our world is going to change, or our life will change, or anything is going to change. We have to really live our lives fully, you know, and love ourselves and love those around us, you know.
Right. Can't dwell on
life with no regret, you know. Fulfill your dreams, you know, do what you need to do, you know.
Now, I'm not going to keep you all night. I know we're going to go to like our time is till midnight. I'm not going to keep you all night. It's late. I get it. You know, you got a lot of things.
We can go until midnight. I don't have to wake up early tomorrow. So, you know,
I got a few more questions for you as well too. So I was just saying, you know, we don't have to go all night, but I'm saying I have a couple questions that I definitely have to get asked, and I'm sure Genevieve has a couple things too. Now, I want to dive back into going back to the start of film. Did you ever have film lessons and stuff like that? Did you get acting classes, or were you just naturally had it in you?
That's a good question. I learned I learned acting the same way Heath Ledger learned acting, by doing it. You know, Heath Ledger, you know, didn't really take acting classes at the beginning. He made all of his mistakes on film. And I would say, for me, if you look at my IMDb, I have 108 acting credits.
Right.
And I've been in more movies than that maybe just never got finished. But in the beginning, I just wanted to be on a set, acting in any capacity and putting myself out there, learning by doing, you know, and just, you know, being there and learning and absorbing. And then I read, you know, Michael Caine's book on acting numerous times. I'm a big Michael Caine fan. I love Michael.
It's great. That book is great.
And he's such a prolific actor too, because he's somebody that has done a lot of films and a lot of roles, and maybe has been criticized for maybe not being as selective as he could have been, like, you know, doing Jaws 4 or whatever. But, you know,
Jaws 4.
He is a professional actor who did it as a living, and he did it, you know, to make money and to support himself and his family and things like that too. And he just enjoys acting so much. You know, Samuel L. Jackson's like that too. I enjoy acting so much that you hate to say no to something that you think is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And Ted brings this up too, and I was going to mention this because we're going to start bringing up schedules, but one of your friends are going to be on as well too, Sherry Fairchild. She's going to be on talking about acting and the entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah, we were in a couple films together. I came out to the Buffalo area and we worked on a couple projects that I don't think were ever finished. And then we were both on set of Death House together. It was actually Sherry that told me that they had needed people for Death House. I had less than 24 hours, and she said she had talked to casting people, and they were really looking for people to come out. So I drove out to Philadelphia. She drove out from Buffalo to Philadelphia to be in Death House, where we play with these evil nurses in Death House, which is like a really cool movie that's all over streaming online and has all these really iconic people in horror movies. Everybody in the whole movie is like a name, from like the extras to the star actors. Everybody in the film is like somebody. It's like it's almost like Where's Waldo when you're watching it, because like every moment, if you really look, you can see somebody that looks familiar. Like, hey, weren't they like in a movie I saw? You know,
right.
It's a pretty cool movie, Death House. You know. So she's a really cool person. She's a really cool person, and it was fun working with her on films and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and I've been also a guest with her at a couple conventions over the years as well. Yeah,
that's cool.
There's a comment from Chanel, and that's a very good point.
Yep.
Right there.
Live life like a light bulb, not a candle burning at both ends.
From Chanel.
It's true. It's, you know, I just got really into Jared Leto recently after watching The Little Things, and he's such an inspiring person because he really like is all about like positive energy and like living your dreams and doing everything that you want to do. And he said he came out to Los Angeles and he's with $500 and lived at a shelter until he got his acting career going. You know, like, you know, he really like talked the talk, walk the walk, and just like life is short. You know, we're not all going to be here like forever. So if there's something that you're really thinking about doing and you think about it a lot, you should get out there and you should do it.
Well, what do you want to do? What's the one thing that you really want to do?
I want to act in more movies. You know, 108 is not enough. It needs to be a lot more than that. You know, I want to be more prolific than that. And I want to be in more diverse roles. I want to probably do more things, maybe even outside of the horror genre as well, like maybe more comedy, more drama, and things like that. I'm going to be in a couple of films coming up that aren't horror movies as well. Maybe do more theater. I've done a few theater productions in the last few years. Probably want to do more of that sort of thing. I want to kind of step out of my comfort zone. I want to feel more alive. You know?
Well, same exact question. Same exact question, just out of film world now. What do you want to do as far as like maybe an adrenaline rush in life itself, other than the film world? What's the one thing that you definitely want to do? Like, for instance, skydive or whatever.
I don't know if I want to skydive, but I definitely want to travel more. I'm someone that likes to do a lot of world travel. So I'm glad that I did like 2 big trips right before everything got kind of crazy. I went to Barcelona, Spain, and I went to Costa Rica.
Oh, wow.
I've been to Europe quite a few times. That was my second trip to Costa Rica. I like to spend time traveling and absorbing and learning about like other cultures, eating different kinds of food, and just kind of doing that kind of whole thing. I think that's really something that helps you grow and embrace new experiences. So that's something I want to do. I want to go to more conventions. I want to meet more fans. I want to meet more people. You know, I want to go out to more dance clubs and I want to dance. I want to live. I want to, you know, be passionate. I want to embrace. I want to maybe be on stage more and feel the energy of the crowd more. and engage with people more in that kind of like organic and live kind of way as well. I definitely want to do some more directing. I want to do some more acting. You know, I want to, you know, with everything going on, I definitely want to see people more. I want to go back to being more sociable. And I think I want to be sillier. I think I need to work on being a sillier person.
That's good. I mean, that was a great answer. I mean, mine would have just been, I want to go in a great white shark cage. That's on my bucket list. I want to do acting and stuff like that. But my simple answer was like, yeah, I just want to be in a cage with a shark.
There you go. Sharks are beautiful animals too. They get a really bad rap, but they are really beautiful. They're beautiful animals, beautiful creatures. Yeah.
Well, Genevieve, what about you? Yeah. What's on your bucket list? What would be the one thing that you would like to do? Yeah, you.
Let's see. I want to go to Stonehenge. That's a big one for me. And while I'm doing that, I'd really love to go to I got to see the pyramids in Egypt. Those are two really big things for me.
Yes.
And preferably while I'm traveling, I'll hit Machu Picchu at some point, but I don't know if I'm going to climb up that mountain.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Well, Genevieve, I'm going to ask you something real quick. My co-pilot here. All right. So you don't know much about the film world.
Mm-hmm. I know I like watching them.
Right. Is there something that you would ask Genevieve, like not knowing the film world, that you would want to know from the speaking from the outside? Because I already kind of do know. So I want to ask you to ask her.
One thing that what was your first role like? Like, how did you find your first role? Like, I always have this envision people find you for the role, but I'm sure it's not like that.
It's a good question. Well, I guess it was kind of like a weird organic kind of thing. Is that, first role, it's hard to say when my first role was, because I did do some theater and plays when I was a kid, and all the way back to kindergarten. I think I played a ladybug in a play, and things like that. And then I did some plays in grammar school, and I did some films for friends that were in college. But then I guess the first acting role I usually think of is Jacko Slasher, because they got distribution, and it's kind of like a professional movie that's out there. And somebody had contacted me that was a friend of a friend, and they were like, my sister Jennifer Valdez is working on a movie. Would you like to be in the movie? So I was like, all right. So I was talking to Jennifer, and her sister Fallen Faith had put me in touch with her, and she was like, I have a role that I think you would be good for. You'd be playing a sexy Satanist. And if anything, that's become a little bit of a typecast since then. But that was my first film, and I'm a sexy Satanist. I have makeup on. I'm wearing fishnets. I'm in my bra and panties. I'm in the middle of a cornfield. I look a little bit like getting ready for the floor show and the Rocky Horror Picture Show, I think. I look a little bit like Magenta, I think. But I'm doing the floor show, even though she wasn't the floor show. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So I'm in this movie, and that was really my first role. And then I met James Balsamo and Bob Sachi and a whole bunch of other people that I ended up working with on a whole bunch of films after that. So it kind of happened very organically. I think it's so much of life is kind of just showing up for things and kind of putting your hat in the ring.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why it's so important to just be a participant in your life and in the things around you. Don't think too much about do art. Don't think too much about how good it is or how bad it is. Do it. You'll figure it out. You'll learn. You'll get better. Just do it.
So at that time, were you interested in becoming an actress, or were you just let me just try this out? Or was that your intention? I had
done, as I said, stuff in high school and college and grammar school plays and stuff like that, and friends of mine's amateur films. So I guess that was always there, and I'm sure you learn from everything you do, even if it is kind of an amateurish thing, or even if it is just through school. But and you take everything like that with you, and everything you do in life is preparation for becoming an actor. Because acting is about life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. So you got to just take your life and what it means to live your life and translate that into your role somehow. You know?
I love it. I mean, this has been exciting all night as far as just being able to pick your brain a little bit, coming from the world that you and I come from, and then having Genevieve here too. So
I always like one of my favorite acting quotes comes from George Burns, which is somebody that lives to be 100 and has been dead for a very long time. But George Burns has this great quote, and he said, acting is all about honesty, and if you can fake that, you got it made.
That's true. I mean, I'm not an actor. I'm not an actor, but I'm a performer. I'm a storyteller. I was a professional belly dancer for a long time. So I get that. I completely get that. Yeah. And I think it's just, it's interesting to hear how other people come about it as well. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Well, and then performers all kind of have that. There's overlap. I have friends, I've done belly dance and I've taken belly dance classes and stuff, but I know other actresses that do belly dance. Belly dance is a performance. Being a musician is a performance. Doing the theater is a performance. Being a wrestler is a performance. A lot of people that do well in those things also do well as an actor because they understand performance.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's truly what talent is. It's like you put your all into it, and then you just kind of let it go from there. It's like you do your best you can, you scratch each other's back, and performance is key, and you just got to do your thing. I mean,
every time you say scratching the back, it makes my back itch, and I wish there was somebody who was scratching my back.
But
you think of back scratchers, Yeah,
there are so many cool shows with this network. There's so many cool shows with this network and the different forums that we go to. Genevieve, at this time, I want to tell you, I want you to tell everyone how to get a hold of you as well. We'll start at the top. We're going to go to Genevieve'A.
I'm like,
go ahead.
Which one?
It's so tough. You guys almost have the same thing. It's like, hold on, which one?
This is the names, because when I first saw her name, I thought you were misspelling my name.
It's all.
Because people do that.
Yeah.
Do people mispronounce your name all the time? Do they mispronounce your name all the time? Because I get mine mispronounced all the time.
Oh, for sure, because both of them are kind of derived from the same root, I think, which is Guinevere, Genevieve, Geneveva, all that Jennifer, all kind of are in different languages. Like Guinevere, I think, is the Welsh form.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's Spanish and French and everything like that. So there are similar names, but they're different also.
Yeah, I get.
Genevieve, how do we get a hold of you?
Me?
Top right. Yes, you, co-host, co-pilot. How do we get a hold of you now?
You can find me on Tuesdays on the Creepy Parlor on WLFE-DB.com. We have our TV station there now as well. I also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/The Creepy Parlor. I'm on from 7 to 8 Eastern. You can also find me on JerseyShoreGhostTours.net and Jersey Shore Ghost Tours on Facebook. So that's where you can find me.
We got to do a Jersey Shore ghost tour. We got to do it.
It's so much fun.
And I'm going there too. Genevieve, how do we get a hold of you one last time? I know I brought this up, but for any new viewers in, how do we get a hold of you?
Genevieve Rossi. Look for me on Instagram. Look for me on Facebook. Look for me on Twitter. Look for my website, www.GenevieveRossi.com. Look at my IMDb page. You can see all the films that I've been in, and my contact info is there, my email and everything.
Love it. And before I get into myself, I want to bring up some shows, some great people from WLFE-DB. First, check out these variety of hosts. Psychic Cindy. Check her out. Parrot Talk Ted. The Skeptical Help Bar, and many others on here. We have Meet the Authors and Everything Yet Nothing with T-Roy. He's good brother T-Roy. Across the Pond on a Sunday night, and the Skeptical, I said the Skeptical Help Bar, but there's also Where's My Sage as well, and then you could all check out many more. But you can also find me on Real Talk with Monday nights at 10 p.m. because we are here, we are now, and Genevieve and I on a Monday night. Also, on a Friday night on Psychomantium 13 Psycho Bunny DC. You could find me with Dom and Tom's World, and check us out at 8:30 on there. And it's a fun thing that we do. So yeah, we got all that out there. Genevieve, I want to say this. In closing, in a closing act here, is there anything that you would like to say to anyone as far as like pushing their career forward, knowing what we do? And
that's a
maybe
good
giving
one.
some-
Like any advice for anyone that's interested in getting involved in acting? That would be a good.
Well, acting is not easy, so you have to have a thick skin. You can't take things personally. You have to persevere. You have to be willing to take rejection. But truly, if this is your dream and something you really want to pursue and something that means a lot for you, I think you should go out there, because you don't want to live a life where you're regretting or you're not living a full, passionate existence, you know?
I do.
Do it.
Well, I want to say with that, I want to thank you personally for being here. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you contribute to the film world. And keep going, my friend. And like I said, I'll be in Jersey soon too. I would love to work with you. Love to push you. Yeah, I'd love to push you forward too. Like here, we'll talk with Dom, and then just all be friends. You and I have a ghost tour to go on.
2. I have 2 ghost tours.
And I have 2.
Keyport and Red Bank. 2 ghost tours.
Oh, Newport and Red Bank.
Keyport.
Yep.
Oh,
That's where I was-
Keyport. Oh,
Yeah.
Keyport. Keyport and Red Bank aren't too far. That's probably doable. Yeah. We should
definitely do it.
out.
You got 2
We'll grab
I got
lunch.
2 ghost tours.
We'll all
I
grab
think
lunch for dinner.
Like Cape May or somewhere really, really far from me.
Oh,
But that's
no.
not too bad.
No.
That's not too bad. It's doable. That's doable.
Yeah. We'll grab there's Jennifer too. She'll be there. There she is. There's our other friend. We'll grab lunch, dinner, whatever it is, go on a ghost tour, grab a couple beers, and we'll all hang out as friends. Genevieva, I
Sounds
appreciate
good.
you being here. And we'll keep in touch. Like I said, thank you for all you do. And you'll be back on here after you after a little bit of time, and we'll talk about more projects that you have.
Yeah, and everybody, please like the page for Attack of the Killer Chickens, the movie. It's the dawn of a new age, a chicken age. Attack
That's
of the
so
Killer Chickens.
scary. Chickens are so scary.
Exactly.
I love it.
It's a frightening movie. A lot of people said that they had bad experiences with chickens, and it all
They're
came flooding
scary.
back to them when they saw pieces of the movie.
Wait, were there real chickens in the movie?
No chickens were harmed or used in the film, so we're not going to have any animal rights groups after us.
No, just saying, just because it would be scarier for me if there's real chickens.
No, we have like fake chickens like puppet chickens that we made in the film that are used in Attack of the Killer Chickens. So they'll probably make it a little bit less scary. But I know when we showed the short film and snippets of the film, I did have at least a couple women come up to me and say, when I was a child, I was attacked by a chicken. And this movie makes me think about my chicken attack.
Oh my God, it's so
And I didn't realize chickens were so violent, but I did hear about cockfighting, which is illegal. And
Yeah.
it sounds really sexual, but it's not. It's not.
Yeah, it's pretty violent.
It's a violent sport that sounds like it would be something erotic, like a sword fight, cockfight, but no, it's like actually, the opposite of a sword fight. And meaning that it is like this terrible, disgusting thing that should be illegal because it's really inhumane to the
I
chickens.
think it is. I think it is actually illegal.
It is illegal.
Yeah.
And you know what? And here's something heartwarming. I do have a couple friends on Instagram that now have pet chickens. So chickens are now becoming pets. You don't just eat them or make them fight, but you can have a pet chicken that your children play with in the yard and can be like a source of like affection and bonding.
More power to them.
Chickens are evolving. But in my film, chickens are out for revenge because we've been mistreating them for a very long time. And they don't like it. And they've been putting up with it for too long.
It's terrifying.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It'll make you think twice the next time you're like eating your chicken nuggets somewhere or, something like that.
I'm going vegetarian from here.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the message of my film is that we all need to kind of rethink animal rights and things like that. Or maybe it's not my message. Maybe I don't really have a message. Everyone will have to watch and figure out whether or not I have a message or not.
Well,
Maybe the message is that I just want to make a crazy movie. It's hard to say.
I love it. Anyway, my friend, we'll get back together. I appreciate you. I really enjoyed this. You've made my night, and
You made my night. This is awesome.
I love
and I
that.
look forward to moving back to New Jersey, and then we could definitely do the ghost tour. I legit want to do the Keyport or Red Bank ghost tour. I might even have some friends who might want to join us for that because I have some friends that live in the area.
I'll be there April 3rd, and what I'll do is I'll message you. I'll personally message you my number, and we'll keep in contact, and we could talk. And when I'm there, like I said, we'll go grab a beer and lunch or whatever, and then we'll go see.
Yeah, April 3rd. Yeah, send me the info, and I'll check my calendar and see if I have anything going on. Off the top of my head, I don't think I'm doing anything April 3rd. So that should be kind of fun.
I'll be on a plane that night, but April 3rd, I'll be in Jersey back there. So
okay.
Yeah, we'll plan future
ghost tour or whatever.
No. Genevieve will get that over to you.
We haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah. But
very cool.
But we'll talk soon, Genevieve. Thank you for everything you do, who you are, and what you represent. And we'll talk very soon, my friend. Thank you for being on Real Talk with Don with Genevieve and I.
I wish you the best in your endeavors. Thank you.
Absolutely, and we're all here together, so we're a big fam. So we'll see you later, my friend, and have a great night. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. God bless.
you.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Good night.
Genevieve, that was great.
That was a lot of fun.
Always. Yeah, we got another one here and another great show. So
How many shows is this now? Are you keeping count?
no, I think it's like 20.
I just put you on the spot, didn't I?
I think it's like, I don't know, 20 or so, but we'll figure it out. Maybe less. But hey, Jen.
Hey, Dom.
Cheers.
Cheers. I don't have anything tonight. Cheers.